CBS Sports put out a wonderful ranking. These are the wonderful little gifts that we get this time of year as camps open up. When it comes to the NFL, we get the annual rankings, and it makes things a little bit easier to digest and get kind of caught up on the offseason, because I think for a lot of fans, and this includes myself, as we try to stay plugged in as much as possible, and for those of us who come here, talk with you, hang out with you every day, it's always a kind of a constant churn. Like, you think you can step away, but you don't. And if you do step away for too long, you're way behind. And then when you start talking about crap, you're an idiot. It sounds just dumb. It sounds dumb. Well, I wasn't really paying attention. Then what are you doing? What are you doing? This is the job. It's the job, you know? It's like a dentist never looking at teeth while they're at work. So as training camps are back underway, CBS Sports put out a listing of the top 10 players at every offensive position. I'm assuming that within the next couple of hours, they'll put out a defensive one as well. And so they went through all their NFL experts, and they've got smart guys on their staff. We've interviewed a number of them before. They kind of ranked everybody, like 1 through 10, kept it pretty simple in terms of rankings. Among quarterbacks, Josh Allen right at the top. And then there's a steep drop, like a really quick drop-off when it comes to quarterbacks. One of them is Patrick Mahomes, who comes in at number 2. But remember, recency bias, right? Dude tore his ACL and had an awful season. He's got a new running back for sure. Number 3, Matthew Stafford. Remember when Matthew Stafford had the worst back in the history of the NFL and wasn't going to play last year? Like, everyone was worried he wasn't going to come out. They've got him as 3rd. But it is a steep drop-off after Josh Allen. It feels like we just talked about the ACC vote when it came to teams and finish. It's a really quick drop-off with just kind of those who you feel can do things, and then all of a sudden it goes from, and this is crazy to say, Drake May to Dak Prescott. Drake May is number 6 on their list, so they're considering him a top 6 quarterback in the NFL. And they don't get past 13. Like, there is no Bryce Young. Don't worry, folks. There is no Bryce Young on this list. There's also no C.J. Stroud on this list. So if you're going to do comparison, apples to apples, the number 1s and number 2 picks in the NFL draft 4 seasons ago, going into this 3 years ago, not on this list. Running backs, kind of that similar kind of thing, right? Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, 1 and 2. And then a big fall off, like, who's next? And I know for those of you who play fantasy football, and there's a lot of you who do so, you're kind of scratching your head like, who are we supposed to get after these big fall-offs? Again, not on this list, no Panthers. Wide receivers, a little bit more mixed up here. If you are the highest paid wide receiver in the game, you are still not top 2, top 3. You are making good money, though. That's for sure. And names that you know, right? Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Smith and Jigba, Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb. Interesting here. Number 11 on this list, outside of the top 10, Tetairoa McMillan. Ahead of a Devontae Adams. Ahead of a Malik Neighbors. But behind guys like Nico Collins, who I believe might be the only target in Houston, and behind Drake London, who we just talked about, who might be one of the few targets that's going to be thrown to by either Michael Penix or Tua Tagovailoa. Tight ends, no Panthers, not worried about that. Offensive tackles, never going to be a Panther on that list. Interior offensive linemen, no Panthers as well, not even in the also rans. There's one Carolina Panther on this list. It's very clear that as much as the quarterback position is kind of the one that stirs the drink in the NFL, if you're looking, and again, just based on just a simple ranking of a bunch of experts who cover the NFL 365 days a year, that Tetairoa McMillan should be the face of the Carolina Panthers. Is that fair to say? Is that fair to say that Tetairoa McMillan, after one season, after becoming Offensive Rookie of the Year, season number 2, should be the face that you see on the side of Bank of America Stadium moving forward? Like, is he that face? And for the other Panthers to overcome this, and this is where I came in with kind of the little tease, where if you're going to be a top guy, it means overcoming a lot of things. And a lot of that overcoming just has to do with the bias against your team. There are other teams here that don't have representatives too. I mean, I'm not just saying the Panthers are the only ones that have to overcome a bunch of stuff. But to make it into the top 10, like Ashton Genty, the Raiders, by the way, ranked number 11 in this group. Number 11. And he didn't have the greatest season last year because he was on a bad team, so nobody paid attention. But he's got another guy, tight end Brock Bowers, who's a superstar and is number one when it comes to tight ends. Same way with the Arizona Cardinals. But there's some things that the Panthers have to overcome to become a top guy. Is it production? Is it the fact that they need to win some more football games? Because when you think about the Carolina Panthers, and it is the NFL, so you know there's plenty of spotlight, it's not like they grabbed this big national talking points when it comes to them. Who grabs the talking points when it comes to the Panthers beyond mediocrity? And the mediocrity argument and the mediocrity talk about the Carolina Panthers ended last season when they won a divisional championship. But they're still not being talked about as one of those teams that should be part of the larger conversation. The larger media talk, the larger reporters, the columnists, we know where they're based. They're based in New York. So the Giants and the Jets suck the air out of the room. The Buffalo Bills are building a new stadium, but they have the number one quarterback in Josh Allen. They changed out head coaches, and they're now, once again, Super Bowl or bust. Philadelphia gets to have that conversation because they're Philadelphia. Pittsburgh gets to be part of that conversation because of Aaron Rodgers. Chicago Bears are in Chicago. Seattle Seahawks are the defending Super Bowl champions. Kyle Shanahan got into an auto wreck and nobody talked about it. And to be fair, I don't give a damn if a head coach gets into an auto wreck unless he lost his legs and lost his life. Sorry, bad luck. I've been in 3 car accidents in my life. It's public record. It sucks. But I don't care. The LA Rams get talked about because of the LA Rams. But the Panthers just kind of slide under everything. And that's something they're going to have to overcome to put superstars on those lists. Now, maybe J.C. Horn shows up on the defensive list when the CBS Sports puts this one out. Maybe Derek Brown gets put on that list when that list gets put out. But I heard Tim Donnelly talking about this the other day in terms of impact free agents on their teams. Where a guy like Devin Lloyd, who was considered one of the great grabs in free agency, and Jalen Phillips, again, one of those great free agency grabs, not just because of the money that they got paid, but because of their production on the field, they're not even top 10s. They're not considered those impact guys. It's where Carolina inherits that, and as you come to the Panthers, you have to overcome some of that bias. Winning cures all ills, right? We know this. Winning cures everything. Money solves problems. It creates them, but it also solves problems. So to overcome that bias, to be that top guy, for Carolina, it's probably going to take a few more years. Don't care about a car accident of a head coach. Seriously? Who cares? How does Rod Brindamore overcome that bias? Was it winning the championship this year that puts him into that echelon of coaches that more people should be talking about? And the NHL as a whole is still the 4th league. Worldwide, no, not the 4th league, probably the 3rd. The NFL and the NBA kind of suck the air out of that room, and MLB tries, but where have they gone to play ball, really? Mexico City and Japan. I'm like, okay, let's just go to where they're already playing professional baseball and show off a few new stars. The NHL does have that global game, but how does Rod Brindamore overcome that? How does his name get put in the mouths of the others as a great coach? Is that possible? Does he need to, speak up more? Does he need to be this overbearing, pompous, Tortorella-esque, do a weird thing, Mike Babcock thing, come around the league an 8th or 9th time like a Joel Quenneville? I'm like, what does it take? What does it take for him to overcome that bias? And in the NHL, it is much different. It is way different than it is in other sports because of how the spotlight is shown and what you're supposed to do. Are you supposed to do the quiet business in the NHL? Should you be doing quiet business as a head coach? Because you're able to put statistics up. You're able to hang banners. You're able to develop guys. It's funny, they talk about team sports, right? Baseball, team sport. NHL, tough team sport. NFL, team sport, but with focus on major players. An NBA, 5, everything's exposed, a lot more individuality, right? Like, you can celebrate at a much faster pace in the NBA than you can in most any other sports. I'm like, I just made a shot. Yep, I'm doing the bow and arrow. All right, made a shot. All right, pushing a little air swish with my hand. I'm like, hockey, I get to do it once every, I don't know, every other game, maybe. Unless I'm a point per guy, and then I get to jump into a circle with 4 other sweaty dudes. I mean, that might be it. The individuality is barely there unless you're a superstar. But how do you get a coach to stand out? That's the interesting part for a coach that has been banging on the door of the NHL Hall of Fame for so long. How does he stick out? How does it make him stick out beyond championships? Does he need to be the loudest guy in the room? I think he could be the loudest guy in the room. I'd allow that. Be that guy. Be that guy and flex. You are Mr. Personality, Rod Brindamore. Flex. And for all the ladies out there, and I know guys, you had to deal with this for the past couple of months, I'm sure if you looked at your wife or significant other screensaver, there's probably a shirtless Rod Brindamore hoisting a cup somewhere. Just saying. Maybe that was it. Maybe he just needed to take his shirt off.
I'm Max Goren with 3 things you need to know right now from 99.9 The Fan. Yesterday was the first day of padded practice at Carolina Panthers training camp, and another young player left with an injury. Second-year tight end Mitchell Evans was carted off on Tuesday morning with an apparent left leg injury. Coach Dave Canales said Evans rolled his ankle, and trainers are optimistic about a timely return. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports this morning that former Buccaneers quarterback Kyle Trask is working out for the Panthers today. Trask played college football at Florida before assuming a backup role in Tampa for the past 3 seasons. He has completed 4 of 11 passes in his NFL career. The Durham Bulls were unable to take the field last night due to severe weather, so they'll play a doubleheader today at the DBAP against the Gwinnett Stripers. Bulls coverage can be found on 620 AM Buzz Sports Radio, 99.9 FM HD2, and WRAL News Plus. First pitch of Game 1 is scheduled for 5:25 p.m. For all the latest news on your favorite teams, download the 99.9 The Fan app or visit 999thefan.com.
Apparently this morning, they are reportedly set to announce that they will cancel LIV Golf's team finale in Michigan. And this would essentially end LIV Golf's year and most likely just end LIV Golf in general. They changed the purse. It was $50 million last year to win the event, and then it's $40 million this year if they were going to have it. The Detroit News last week said they hadn't even started building infrastructure, which was an ominous sign, correct, for this tour. They're already talking about players who are on LIV Golf right now are already trying to find other homes. The European Tour, the DP Tour, their membership kind of applications end in November. So if they're going to make the move, they have to make the move. Here's the weird deal, and I read something earlier today, maybe it was yesterday, talking about the contracts that were running out. Like Bryson, for example. Bryson's contract is up, so there's nowhere for him to play. If they don't play there, he would have to come back to the tour. Maybe he could go play in Europe. He would have to play. Take the sanctions that like Brooks Koepka did when he came back.
They're all just going to have to do that. All the top players anyway. This is not. It's not going to be a thing anymore. They're trying to raise $350 million to try to get this league back for another year next season. If you're not the Saudi Public Investment Fund and you have unlimited money, why are you ever paying $350 million for something that's broadcast on the CW for less than 1 million people in whatever given tournament? Like, you're not getting any return on investment on that.
A guy that may have to sit out is John Rahm. So John Rahm, who signed up, is still under contract with LIV for another year. And the reason why he played was because he liked the team golf aspect, which, again, fine. Hey, everybody likes their own thing. But if that's the reason why he showed up, I'm not sure he can come back, right away. So he'd have to sit.
They'll find a way to bring him back. The PGA Tour will make sure that the best players get a chance to come back.
Do they all get to come back, though? Does
I don't know.
Everyone get to run it back?
Who knows how they're going to end up going about this, because obviously this is an unprecedented situation, has been the entire time. And they still have a couple events on the schedule before that team championship in Michigan that is, again, apparently getting canceled at some point today. But they still have LIV Golf New York, which is set for, I think would be next weekend. And then LIV Golf Indianapolis are both still on the schedule. So honestly, we'll see if those end up getting carried out. And then, going forward, it's crazy to think that they could ever sustain this, because the purses for these events are crazy. Those two events that are still allegedly still happening, they have $30 million purses. I don't know how they ever thought they would have enough money to be able to sustain this. I guess
IOUs.
Unless they thought the PIF would just continue to
Cut
funnel unlimited money because they have so much. But I think eventually they realized, like, we're just wasting this money. Like, this is just doing nothing for our sports washing goals or anything like that. So,
Front Office Sports reports that they still owe Louisiana money when they can't. This is not the first event. They canceled an event at the end of June in New Orleans. They had postponed it from April to June, and then it didn't happen. They still owe the state of Louisiana $1.2 million. They still owe Louisiana money. That's crazy.
I'm just ready for it to be over. Let's just wrap it up. You did what you wanted to do, Liv. You ruined it. You ruined you didn't ruin it, but you fragmented professional golf. Congratulations.
Well, the good news is that there'll be some LIV Golf merchandise coming to a clearance rack near you if you're interested in dead brands.